Hello and welcome to After the Whistle. I am your host, Brian Dorrington, here with Marsala Mukala Kabungo.
Got it right this time.
I got it right this time. We had to start over. I kind of stuttered on Marsala. It is like a chicken dish or something, right?
I believe so.
I believe so.
I like chicken.
I'm not an adventurous eater, but I'm running out of M things. So Marsala was just the first thing that popped into my mind.
It's a good day today.
It is a good day today.
It's my Friday.
It's your Friday, that's right. We're filming on Thursday today because Mukala has Friday off. Very, very good for you. Let's talk about a person who's doing much better than you.
Oh my gosh.
Much better than all of us, much better than the majority of people in this world, and that's Aaron Rodgers, because he just had a 4-year extension worth $134 million that could be up to $180 million. And there's over $10 million guaranteed money in this deal.
All that money, Lord have mercy. Aaron Rodgers, Lynn Community Television, we need some donations.
Yes, please.
We talk nicely about you here.
Not really, I don't like them.
But hey, your quarterbacks, once again, teams will, if you're a good quarterback, they will throw the money at you if you're a good quarterback. Now, he's paid, this is, I believe, a record-breaking extension, highest.
Yes, he's the highest paid player in the NFL now.
Yes. That doesn't mean he's the best player or best quarterback in the NFL. Let's get that correctly. He's not even the best quarterback in the NFC.
Because next year, Russell Wilson will be the highest paid player next year. His contract will be higher than this.
And you know who they all have to thank for this? Mr. Kirk Cousins. This is the Kirk Cousins effect taking place, and I can't be mad at them. If get your money. Football. We know all the backlash of football, the injuries and stuff like that. So if you can get the most that you can, get it while you're still good. Get it while you're still productive. And
but what does this do to the backup center? Or, I mean, you can't. The salary cap only goes up a certain amount each year.
Yeah.
Other people's value is going to be cut. Other positions are going to become valued less. They're investing so much in one position. I mean, this is an NBA contract. This is I don't know, but I'm guessing this would be a top 5 NBA contract.
Man,
something like
NBA's throwing out contracts like this to C-level players.
Well, okay, so I mean, they do have a lot less players, but my point is how does this affect the rest of the players on the field that might not be considered as important, but more high risk for injury, such as running backs?
Yeah, I'll tell you this. He better start winning some more playoff games and getting another Super Bowl, because you just got this contract.
Yep.
Haven't been to the Super Bowl since winning that Super Bowl back in, what was it, 2010? Somewhere around there. So he needs to start getting up there. And the Packers, also what they need, one of the biggest issues they've had over the years is they can't protect them, the offensive line. So now you're going to have to focus next year and the years after on making sure you have an offensive line suitable enough to protect him. Because if they don't, he's just going to be a same quarterback running for his life, making plays with his legs, and God forbid he gets injured again. What are you going to do with as far as backup quarterback? Because we saw what they were when he was out last season.
And this isn't the same NFC North as it was back in 2010.
Nope.
This is no longer the Packers going to be dominating. We'll talk about this, but NFC more in the show, but it's a completely different division now.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers, you're worth the money. I just don't know how these contracts are going to keep the NFL is going to have to go to some sort of luxury tax thing, or
have no salary cap,
or have no salary cap at all.
Go the baseball route.
Go the baseball route, because these contracts are just going to leave so much little money left over for other players.
Yeah, especially you see the wide receiver price tags. We're about to talk about that in a minute. We've seen the wide receiver market, how that's constantly going up. So, and if they get a talented wide receiver, I mean,
and Gurley just made the running back market.
So every
10 times higher. So
everything's going up. Everything's going up. So the Packers, they're good job of securing a quarterback. Now they just have to make sure they do enough with their finances to secure players around him that will help him.
Well, let me ask you this. Are defensive contracts really going up? I mean, pass rushers and linemen, but linebackers, cornerbacks, safeties.
the value of defense is diminishing in the NFL.
Anything else besides a left tackle on the line?
Nope.
Those aren't going up.
Yeah.
So those are probably going to go down. Those are probably be kind of less valuable players in terms of real dollars.
Plus, look at the value of defense in the NFL. The NFL with all these rules, it's making it impossible for defensive players to actually do anything, and their value is diminishing because of all these rules. They can't do certain things that they used to do, and so it's interesting times in the NFL.
We'll see how it plays out.
The evolution.
But let me kind of almost gloat here for a little bit about Odell's contract, because if you've ever been following the show, I've been saying Khalil Mack, get your butt to camp. Aaron Donald, get your butt to camp. Work on the contracts, and then it'll be happening. You've criticized me for this. You said if I was Odell Beckham, I would have never stepped on the field, and you value Khalil Mack. Well, look at the result. Odell Beckham showed up on day one, didn't drag this off through the media. There was no holdout, and now he's the highest paid wide receiver ever. 5 years, $95 million, $65 guaranteed. Okay, he did it the right way. He stayed in, he played, and he did his football job, and he let his agents and his attorneys take care of the rest, and it paid off for him. Khalil Mack learned from this man. I'll let you have your say.
Odell was going to get this money no matter what. They were going to give him.
So then why wouldn't he just sit out?
Why would?
That by your standards, that's what you said on the show before. We could pull it up. You said if you were Odell, you would never step foot on the field.
No, I would not.
It's because he loves the game.
He loves the game, and also he got hurt week 4 of the season, so he had this time where he missed a lot of football. He was doing the rehab, and he said it himself, he just missed being out there with his guys. He missed it, and that injury really, that really affected him, and that's why he was so eager to get back on the field. If he had never got injured, he'd be sitting out.
No, I think this could be. I think you can make the reverse argument that there's more likelihood to get injured if he's in preseason and camp, and he would sit out to say, you know what, I don't want to risk getting injured again, and then I'm not going to get any contract. I think that works the other way.
No, if he never got injured, I still believe he would have held out if they didn't have the contract for him. But good for Odell though. Get that contract, $20 million per year, highest paid receiver, and he deserves every single penny. The guy has been productive, besides last year due to the injury, but he's been productive ever since he got to the NFL. First 3 seasons, he's had double-digit touchdowns. First 3 seasons, he's gone over 1,300 yards receiving. So he's basically kind of saving Eli Manning. He's been saving Eli Manning the past couple of years because Eli Manning has been, Eli Manning is the only quarterback that got 2 Super Bowl rings, and we're always wondering, how does this man have 2 Super Bowl victories? Because if you look at Eli, the past 5, 6 seasons, it's been horrible. He's been
quarterback
terrible.
Play in general has been horrible. He's still a middle-of-the-road quarterback. He's not even like the top 12 worst quarterback. I think quarterback play in general is just down, and that's why they kind of rely on these wide receivers more.
Yeah, so I'm glad Odell got his money, and I believe he's
well deserved.
I think he's going to live up. I think he's going to live up to the contract. There's a lot of people who disagree with him, with the Giants doing this, giving him all this money. They're saying he's immature. They're still bringing up whatever happened in Paris with the French model or in that hotel room, whatever. I don't know, but Odell deserves it. Pay your productive players. He's a superstar. We can't deny it. He's a superstar. He's probably the face of New York sports. Mm-hmm. Him and Aaron Judge, would you say? So you got to pay them.
The problem comes though is when you're paying a receiver this much money, next year they got Landon Collins to sign to a long-term deal. Mm-hmm. Landon Collins, arguably the best safety in the league. How are you going to afford? If you pay him big bucks too, he's not going to get something this big. Yeah. But he could be clearly one of the highest paid defensive players next year. They're going to have some juggling to do.
Yeah, they will.
Because this is a lot of money from the cap.
Definitely.
And Eli Manning eats a lot of money up from the cap. Yeah. So maybe after this year, this could be the last of Eli Manning because their payroll will not be able to handle it all.
They have no plan for a quarterback either. They didn't draft one.
They got Davis Webb, right? I think the guy.
Yeah, let's talk about Teddy Bridgewater. He just
okay, you're right. I'm just saying that is their backup, Davis Webb.
Yeah, good luck.
Good luck, Davis Webb.
The Jets traded Teddy Bridgewater for a 2019 6th-round pick.
Third-round pick.
The Saints received a 3rd-round pick, I believe. Or is it the other way around?
So the Jets got a 3rd-round pick.
Okay. The Jets got a the 3rd-round pick and the Saints got a 6th-round pick. Am I correct?
I don't know if there's a pick involved. There might have been a pick.
Well, whatever. He got traded. This is all signs pointing to Sam Darnold is about to start. Is going to be the starter for. I think he's going to be the starter for Week 1. Mm-hmm. This was also a good pickup for the Saints because they need a backup for Drew Brees. If I think Teddy Bridgewater is a serviceable quarterback if Drew Brees is to get hurt, because that when he started in Minnesota, when he was a starter in Minnesota, he produced. He did just enough to help the team win. There was the playoff game, I believe. All the kicker had to do was make a 20-yard field goal, and they won the game. And he missed it. So I think Teddy Bridgewater is a solid quarterback, is a solid backup quarterback in the NFL. He could start. He has starter talent. And I think this is good for the Saints. Just to ensure.
So here's my thought. First of all, it was a genius move by the Jets. They get a 3rd-round draft pick out of this, and they only paid $1 million. That's all they paid Bridgewater so far. So they knew that they were going to trade Bridgewater right away, and they pick up a 3rd-round draft pick. That's big in today's NFL. Smart move by the Jets. I don't give them credit often, but this was good. But Bridgewater is going to be an unrestricted free agent at the end of this year. This tells me that he is not just a backup. They're going to watch him play, and they could maybe restructure this deal before he hits free agency. And Drew Brees is 40 years old.
Yeah.
Bridgewater's still only 25.
Yeah.
Maybe Sean Payton thinks he could be the next guy in.
Possibly. And during this preseason, in 3 games, he's been 28 for 38, 316 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 74% completion. So that's good. He's done some things, and he's a lot better than a lot of quarterbacks that are going to be trotted out as starters in Week 1. Yeah. He's probably better than, I'd probably say, 6 or 7 quarterbacks that are going to be starting during Week 1. So, I mean, I hope all the best to Teddy Bridgewater.
My only concern with Bridgewater is he has a small frame.
Yeah.
He does have a small frame in withstanding hits after hit after hit. I just don't know if he can stand up to that. He's got to put some more muscle on somehow.
Yeah, get on that Brady workout or something, or diet.
Not the Edelman workout, because then you'll get suspended, Teddy.
Yeah. This is the first that I've heard of an NFL player being charged with insider training. This was... I laughed. I'm not going to lie. I laughed when I read this.
I think I giggled.
This was, out of all the things we've known NFL players to get in trouble for, this insider trading.
They keep coming up with new ones. I can't wait for the espionage. So who's going to be the first one to get charged with espionage?
He put his trust in a Harvard grad who worked for Gold.
Which I don't think that's a bad.
I mean,
a Harvard grad.
You can't always put your trust in someone just because they went to an Ivy League school.
And they work at Goldman Sachs.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think usually those guys they try to do things that benefit themselves and not nobody else. So it was
that's true.
It was $1.2 million in illegal profits. And this was over. I think this was over a 4-year period or something like that. And the Browns cut him. They cut him right after that. So
it's funny because they knew about it when they hired him.
Yeah, when they signed him. Yeah,
but now suddenly they cut him. I don't know. I've never understood insider trading. I think I would do it. If somebody gave me, I guess I'm not really sure why it's illegal. If somebody gives me a tip, I'm going to invest in that or something. I don't know. I don't see that much big of a deal with it. It's kind of like betting. If you get a sports tip betting, hey, this is a good over-under here, and you do that. Is that insider?
Yeah, you're just trying to save yourself some money from losing money or try to gain some more money. Hey, Martha Stewart got convicted for it.
Yeah, she went to jail. Insider trading is just one thing that's always been weird to me. Maybe I don't know much about it, but it seems like a smart decision to invest in things that you know will be profitable or to disinvest in things that you know are not going to be profitable. Anyway, that's a different show.
SEC, don't come looking at us. We're not doing any insider trading.
No, I don't have any stocks.
Yeah, me either. So SEC, stay away from Lynn Community Television. The Bengals, a team that, they're the Bengals. They signed Geno Atkins and Carlos Dunlap to an extension. They're 2 defensive ends. Geno Atkins.
Did these guys hold out? Were these guys at camp?
Probably.
Yeah, they were at camp.
He's old, so he gotta be at camp.
That's all right. They got new contracts and they're at camp.
Yeah, but they're the Bengals, so good jobs to the Bengals. They're still gonna stink. They're still going to finish probably third place in their division, but Geno Atkins has been with them since 2010. Carlos Dunlap, he's also had 61 sacks in his 9-year career. 9 sacks last season and the year before. Carlos Dunlap, he's a premier pass rusher as well. 3-year, $45 million extension. So I'm all for these guys getting paid, especially on the defensive side of the ball, because apparently the league is trying to devalue defense. When I just like to see defense players get paid.
Me too, but again, at the same time, I couldn't find the amount of guaranteed money. I'm sure a lot of these, maybe it hasn't been released yet, but I'm sure a lot of these are incentive-based contracts. And there's guys like Todd Gurley, I think, for one of them, is really trying to push people to do the NFL to go the all-guaranteed contract route. McCourty, I think, is big on that front.
They need
because
to.
these are kind of misleading. I mean, these are big numbers, but when you compare it to Rodgers and Beckham, I'm not saying they're the same quality players, but this definitely isn't the guaranteed amount of money you're getting.
I'm just saying for all future NFL players, just go the Kirk Cousins route. Sign a short 3-year deal and get all the guaranteed money. Just do that, because when you sign the 4 or 5 years, then you probably get 3 years of it guaranteed, and then once after your 3rd year, the team is going to come in and try to make you renegotiate all that nonsense. Just go to Kirk Cousins route. Try to get that short-term deal longer, more money. NBA does that. LeBron James did that for a good number of years.
Well, and they also have the player option in the NBA and in the Major League Baseball. I don't think they have the player option in the NFL, do they?
I believe they do.
I don't think they have. I don't think so. We'll look up that next week, and we'll figure it out. I'm not a cap expert, but I don't think they have the player option.
Yeah, the NFL business is weird. On to our local team here, the New England Patriots. Tom Brady versus WEEI. It continues. Remember
Kirk Minahan,
remember the last
more
time?
Specific.
Remember the last time it happened? Brady had to. When they said something about his daughter. He had to end that real quick. And this one, they asked Brady about his trainer, and I don't know.
Which I think is a totally legitimate question.
Yeah.
I do not like Kirk Minahan, but I am on WEEI's side on this one. So totally legitimate question.
Definitely.
Brady's such a diva when it comes to his trainer and his TB12 and anything to do with Guerrero. I'm really starting to dislike him. It's almost like he's more concerned with this TB12 thing and partying at the Met Gala than he is with football. And he's been my favorite athlete for so long, and I'm still going to root for him on the field, but I don't really like him anymore.
My thing is, if you know you're doing the right thing, and if you know that you're not cheating yourself and you're not taking anything that's prohibited from the NFL, that's banned from the NFL, I mean, what's there to hide?
Right.
If you have nothing to hide, just answer the question.
Right.
You don't have to. You can answer it in the way you want to answer it. You don't. You know what I'm saying? You can just give them an answer, give them a short answer or whatever. Just don't be sensitive about it. He's really sensitive about this Alex Guerrero thing.
Weirdly sensitive.
Yeah, it just makes no sense. Like, Brady, you're fine. Have you ever been, have you been caught for doing tainted substances or something like that? No, but you've been clean your whole career. You've never failed any of the NFL's drug tests. So, I mean,
yeah, but this wasn't even that controversial. This was just about Guerrero traveling with them on the flights and being able to treat Brady and being able to stand on the sidelines or whatever. It was just more about Guerrero's relationship currently with the team.
Yeah,
why can't you talk about that?
Just say, he travels with me. I need him.
You're right.
Just say that.
Yeah.
He travels with me.
Yeah.
And the team says it's fine.
Yeah. Done.
It's over. It's over.
Okay, so we're on the same page here.
Yeah. Eric Decker, what a short time lived.
It's a good transition.
Yeah. Eric Decker retired. I'll say this. Eric Decker retired after that debacle in the Super Bowl against Seattle. He's been retired after that. When he didn't. I'm still looking for him for that game. He didn't show up. I don't know where he was during that game. He just wasn't there. But he retired, and okay, bye.
I mean, he was going to get cut, and I don't think he would have got re-signed. So, I think that he kind of did it to save face.
Yeah.
But he's still dating like a really famous country singer, so I don't think money is going to be like an issue with him.
Well, he hasn't been, ever since he left Denver, Have you really heard about him? He went to the Jets.
Tennessee. I think he did well a little bit. I don't know. But no, he had 2 good seasons with the Broncos, and that's about it.
Yeah, he's been retired since after that Super Bowl.
They should, if you're watching, try to get on the TV show Decker. That could be interesting.
Yeah,
it's a
come here.
TV show called Decker.
Or come here.
And I think he would be pretty good on that show.
Or come here.
Talk
to us.
You can talk to us.
So we'll be nice. Well, I don't know about Brian. I'll be nice.
No, not me.
All right, preseason week 4, last preseason. Next week's the season. A week from today, the season starts
exciting.
actually. So, what have been your take so far from the first 3 preseason games of the Pats?
Well, this is kind of what we weren't going to talk about, but did you hear what Jerry Jones says? How 2 preseason games and then go to an 18-game regular season?
Yeah, Jerry Jones is.
It's just
a crazy
all
old
about
man.
the money for these guys because they know nobody watches the 2nd and 4th preseason games. There's a Patriots preseason game on tonight. Again, we're filming on Thursday. If you're watching later in the week, just to let you know. So, and they're actually hiring guys just for this game that they know they're going to cut right after because they don't want any of the starters or practice squad guys to get injured. I think that they really need to limit preseason to 2 games is what I would like, or 3 because this just becomes pointless.
I think the last preseason, like you said, the last preseason game is usually for those guys that are auditioning, that are going to get cut eventually, and they're auditioning for other teams. Pretty much, that's the one.
Yeah.
That's the one benefit I think for the 4th preseason game, even the 3rd, because some teams they don't. Some teams do it differently. They don't really play their starters that much in the 3rd. But the 4th preseason games, I think it's beneficial for those players, the undrafted players that also free agents who weren't picked up, just for them so they could show their talents to other teams and possibly getting picked up and just showing what they can do. I think it's beneficial. I just don't think there should be an 18-game season. If there's an 18-game season, then they need to definitely guarantee all these players money. Every single one of them, they need to have guaranteed contracts. So I don't want these guys out for 8. I don't want the NFL season to go on past February.
No, it's perfect.
No.
It's got the perfect.
Yeah.
It's 16 weeks or 17 weeks, whatever regular season. Then however, I don't want it to be too long, and I like the games.
Yeah.
I didn't really even like that they added Thursday night football because it kind of saturated.
Don't ruin a good thing. So much for that preseason. So much for that preseason talk.
I didn't really notice much in preseason.
Yeah.
I don't put much stake in it.
All right, fantasy football. Before we go to our fantasy no huddle with Craig, we're gonna give you guys our top 10 tight ends. Just to mention, I had my fantasy draft the other day, and
oh God! Don't even admit this in public.
Yeah. So I was good. I had Saquon Barkley right there, and I accidentally clicked on Joe Mixon.
This is the first round, right?
Yeah, this was the first round.
I don't even know how that happened.
It was an accident, and I'm just sitting here. I'm going to be regretting this for until January. This is terrible.
Well, I was lucky enough to pick up Saquon Barkley in mine,
as
well. Sorry about that. As well as Kareem Hunt. I don't know how I did it, but I think I have the best running back combo.
So tight ends, what you got?
There is. Okay, so you want me to go first?
Yeah.
All right. So of course, like I said with Antonio Brown last week, is the number 1 receiver. Gronk's the number 1 tight end, unless you can prove to me otherwise. He's one of the most dominant offensive players, not just tight ends, but players ever when he's healthy. Number 2, Travis Kelce. You can't argue with that.
Definitely.
I think he might have an upgraded quarterback, even though he's young. Who knows? We'll see.
Let's get this quarterback.
I think in the future he'll definitely be an upgrade. I don't know for this season. And then Zach Ertz, number 3, of course. Those are really the 3 premier tight ends in the league. And after that, it gets a little wishy-washy. I'm gonna reach out, and a lot of people will disagree with me, but I'm gonna have Jimmy Graham at 4.
Okay.
Because I know tight ends don't normally have the best success in Green Bay, but he's playing with Aaron Rodgers, who's fresh off a new contract, and Jimmy Graham, he was competing with Gronk just a few years ago for the record for amount of touchdowns. Number 5, Cam Newton's safety blanket, Greg Olsen. Trey Burton for the Chicago Bears. Young quarterback. They always love their check down tight ends. Yeah. Trey Burton's young himself. He's got a lot of athletic skill. 7, this might be a little bit high for Jordan Reed, but it was just a few years ago he was one of the most dominant tight ends in the league. So, and now he's fully healthy. Evan Ingram, coming in at number 8.
Good one.
Kyle Rudolph, number 9. He's my starting tight end right now in my fantasy league. He's got an upgrade at quarterback. And number 10, I'm going to take a flyer on George Kittle for the 49ers.
I almost put him on there.
George Kittle, yeah, I think he's a good 10 spot. For my sleeper, I'm going to cheat again. I have Austin Seferian-Jenkins. Bortles, after Marquise Lee's out.
Receivers.
He's got no receivers. He's going to have to throw to this guy. And the other guy that's sitting on my bench is O.J. Howard, who's got all the physical attributes. A bust, Delaney Walker, sorry, and not a Mariota fan. And he only scored 3 touchdowns last year.
All right, we kind of almost have the similar list. So the greatest tight end ever, Rob Gronkowski. Then I have Travis Kelce. I think this guy, Patrick Mahomes, he looks legit. He looks legitimate. I think this guy, Kelce might have a breakout. He might have a career year. Then I have Greg Olsen because Cam Newton loves Greg Olsen, and Greg Olsen is very reliable. Jordan Reed. Alex Smith doesn't throw the ball down the field that much, which means Jordan Reed is going to get a lot of targets. And he's going to get a lot of catches.
So you took a much bigger reach on Jordan Reed than I did. A lot of people have him outside the top 10. But okay, I could see that.
Jimmy Graham, just because he has Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Rodgers will, he'll definitely be a red zone target for Aaron Rodgers. Eric Ebram, Matt Stafford, they like to sling it around. Matt Stafford is a stat stuffer. Zach Ertz.
It's a little low for Ertz.
Yeah, it is, but I mean, he's right.
All right.
He could have been either. He could have been high or low, but he's in the top 10. Cameron Brate, I have him. Trey Burton and Kyle Rudolph.
Okay.
So those are my 10. Sleepers, O.J. Howard, I agree on that. And bust, stay away from Tyler Eifert and Jared Cook.
Oh, I agree with those two too, but I can only include one. Wait, so you didn't have Delaney in your top 10 either, right?
No, I didn't.
Okay,
He's
cool.
outside my top 10.
A lot of people are having him in the top 10 or even top 5
No.
I've seen.
No way.
Don't listen to those people.
No.
Don't listen to them. They're crazy. I actually don't know what Craig said. Let's actually find out.
Yeah, let's go to Craig with our Fantasy No Huddle.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to No Huddle, where we're going to talk about my top 10 tight ends for this year's fantasy football. And always, number 1, without a doubt, Rob Gronkowski. The man is a machine. He's not slowing down. He's got the mechanical arm, and he's just going to be Brady's favorite target, especially in the first 4 weeks where we don't have Julian Edelman. Eric Decker's gone. That man retired. Second wide receiver in like 4 years that we've sent back into retirement once signing a deal with us. So Rob Gronkowski is just going to be an end zone beast. Look for him to be catching a lot of passes for you, and look for him to be the number 1 tight end. Number 2, baby Gronk, Travis Kelce. I love that kid because of his energy. I love the fact that, he's not afraid to go across the middle. I think he's going to be a touchdown beast. I think he's going to put up a lot of points for you. And with this new quarterback being a gunslinger, I think that it's going to work out in Travis Kelce's favor. Number 3 is Zach Ertz. I'm a little afraid because of Carson Wentz being hurt. I think Nick Foles had his best year last year. He's been struggling in preseason, so I do think that Travis Kelce has a lot of upside, but can possibly have some downside. So look to make sure if you grab Zach Ertz to grab a really good backup. Next on the list is Jimmy Graham. Jimmy Graham's great. He's on Green Bay Packers. Based on history, that might not necessarily be a good thing, but because I like Jimmy Graham, I'm going to hope for the best, and I'm going to give him that number 4 overall position. So look for Jimmy Graham to hopefully get some touches in the end zone. After that, my boy Greg Olsen. I think he returns to form. He's had a full year not a full year, but a full offseason to get healthy. I think he's going to be ready to go. I think he's going to ignite Cam Newton. I think he's going to ignite the Carolina Panthers, and I think it's going to be a really good year. They got a great rookie wide receiver. Funchess is doing really well, and I think that with McCaffrey and Cam Newton throwing and running the ball, that's going to open up some end zone passes for Greg Olsen. So look for Greg Olsen as your number 5 tight end. After that, I got Evan Ingram. I think that kid showed a lot last year, and I think he's only going to show more this year. So look for Evan Ingram to just exceed expectations for you. I think wherever you get him is probably going to be a steal. I think he's going to be a top tight end. I think he's going to be one of the tight ends of the future. After that is Mr. Reliable, one of my favorite tight ends, Delanie Walker. You cannot go wrong with Delanie Walker. He is probably the most reliable tight end on a team that doesn't have very many reliable wide receivers. So look for Delanie Walker to once again just be putting the team on his back and scoring touchdowns. After that, a guy who I'm sometimes leery about, but with his new quarterback, I think his upside just jumps, and that's Kyle Rudolph. Kyle Rudolph's always been a good tight end, but he's always off and on because his quarterback situation is always the best. But this year with Kirk Cousins, a guy I really like, look for Kyle Rudolph to maybe go off in the end zone. I was disappointed that I didn't get him this year in my draft. Hopefully you got him in yours. After that, I like O.J. Howard and Njoku. Whether you put Njoku at 9 and Howard at 10 or vice versa, it doesn't really matter. Those guys are going to be relatively close to the same. I think Njoku's got the better quarterback. I think O.J. Howard has the better talent. So whichever one you pick is going to be a valuable pick for you at the end. I went with Njoku over Howard, but whatever you choose is going to be accurate. So for that, I also want to turn to my boom and my bust. For a bust tight end, do not draft Tyler Eifert unless it's like your last pick. I think that he's going to get hurt. I don't think he's Tyler Eifert anymore. He used to be one of the best tight ends in the NFL, and I think that he's not going to be close to that. I think he's definitely going to be a bust for you, so stay away from Tyler Eifert. And for my boom, I'm looking at Austin Seferian-Jenkins. I think that especially with the loss of Marquise Lee, they're going to look to Seferian-Jenkins in the end zone so much more. And granted, I don't like his quarterback. I do think that his quarterback might be better than he's had, and I think he's on a team that is ready to win. I think that's going to boost his confidence. I think that's going to give him more drive to win because this is a team, a young team, and they're very hungry, and they're very excited to play football, and I think Seferian-Jenkins is going to get behind that and put up a lot of points. So for my boom tight end, I'm looking at Seferian-Jenkins. Great pick. No matter, if you get him after the 10th round, you've definitely got a steal. So those are my top tight ends this year. Make sure you pay attention and grab a good tight end, but not too early. So this is No Huddle. My name is Craig, and my show is The Flex.
All right, we are back to After the Whistle. Thank you once again to Craig. He's behind Delanie Walker. We're not. This is
interesting.
Well, let's see. Let's see. This could be fun to see how it plays out throughout the season. A lot of the same picks that we had. Now, what do you got? You got tennis on here. What are we talking about?
We're just going to talk about quickly Serena Williams. So they banned her from wearing one of her this attire that Nike specifically created for her.
It is not very Tennessee.
Yes.
And I don't mean like the state. I mean like Tennessee.
So one of the directors, I think it was the French Open or U.S. Open or whatever, they said they banned this because they said it was disrespectful to tennis or whatever, but not knowing that Nike created this for health reasons, because Serena Williams almost died giving birth, and she has some blood. This helps with blood clots. This suit it helps with the blood clots, and this was specifically made for health reasons, which they didn't even take into consideration or do any type of research before banning it. They just said it's disrespectful to tennis. I have never seen in a committee or a sport so disrespectful to the greatest player they've ever seen or ever had in so long. When Serena Williams retires and we read about her, we're just going to see how the disrespect from tennis, the tennis association, whatever you want to call them, had towards her, and all she's done, her and her sister, all they've done for tennis. Now, if it wasn't for them, do you think anybody that looks like them would actually be playing tennis?
No, probably not.
Absolutely not. And this is, instead of embracing, they've never embraced her the way they should be. They never embrace her like everybody else embraces her, because you can ask anybody, they think Serena Williams is probably the greatest athlete of all time, male or female.
I would
just because of her accomplishments.
I would debate you on that.
You could debate it, and you could make an argument just because of all her accomplishments, all her titles, all she's done for tennis, and for them to just do this is ridiculous.
I really don't think that this is just on her. They are so hoity-toity. They are worse than the golf committee. The only people that are probably worse are those polo people who wear those polos and play on horses.
Yeah.
They're probably the only more hoity-toity people than tennis people, but they're all about tradition and being and being proper and improper and like you have to be quiet and you can only clap at certain times and you have to like both people. Tennis is just so annoying to me. Hoity-toity is really the best word to say. But then again, I really don't buy Nike's thing. Oh, this was for health reasons. Nike, okay, show us this. Where's your doctor's proof?
Hey.
Have you tested this? Where's this from? I think it's definitely a fashion thing. I think it's something that they probably wanted to sell. She looks great in it. It is stylish, so I don't really buy what Nike has to say. But then again, I don't really cares what she wears on the court. So I guess I fall in the middle on this.
My thing, I hate these. It's like the NCAA, all these other organizations. They have this group of people that makes decisions on the athletes, and none of them probably ever even picked up a tennis racket or basketball or football. I just don't like when those folks are the ones making the decisions that impacts the people that are actually out there. You would think these type of committees will have people that's actually played the sport or been a part of the sport or just been around it. No, sometimes they just get random people in it, and it's like, no, go away. Let me get somebody with some expertise, somebody with some knowledge, somebody that studies. Some of these people, they're just there.
The experts are either playing, coaching, or commentating.
And some of them, but there's some that aren't. And those are the type of people that should be on boards and stuff like that. That's another story for another day.
I don't know who makes up this tennis committee.
Yeah,
I think like I said, hoity-toity is the best word.
Definitely.
So traditionalist, and just don't watch tennis.
I only watch it because Serena plays. Her and Venus are actually playing a lineup.
Each other?
Yeah.
Those are always fun to watch.
That's going to be a great one.
I wonder what they wear.
Quickly, NBA, Manu Ginobili retired after such a long career, 4-time NBA champion. He was one of those international players that helped change the game. A lot of people have been doing Euro steps because of him. Mm-hmm. He had good retirement. Awesome career, internationally and professionally. He's a champion internationally and professionally. He's done a lot for the sport, a lot, if only he could get his country to kind of, get it together, because Argentina.
Argentina? I think they're going down the right path.
They are, but
they're no Venezuela.
They're not Venezuela, but
which is a good thing.
Yeah, but congrats on a great career. He definitely had a great career.
So this is what I want to ask you. So this is what I wrote down. Okay, so it was for 16 years, all for the sports, 4 championships, 2-time All-Star, 2-time third All-NBA team. And Bob Mahler from Fox Sports News, I don't really know, set off a little bit of controversy saying that he doesn't have a Basketball Hall of Fame career. And it sort of set off a debate among all these people. I think most of. I just want to see where you fall on that.
He has a Hall of Fame career if you look at his entire resume, and it wasn't like he was just a role player. He was a big impact player on 4 championship teams. So.
That was pretty much the consensus. There are still some of those haters that say, but what people don't realize is it's not the NBA Hall of Fame. It's the Basketball Hall of Fame. So all the international stuff. Counts too, but I still think even if you're just looking at his NBA record, that is enough to get him into the Hall of Fame.
Most definitely, yeah. Whoever said that is on something.
WNBA, Bob Malley,
Bob, you're on that stuff. Stay off that stuff. Quickly, WNBA playoffs. So we got 2 series going on here. Seattle versus Phoenix. Seattle leads the series 2-0. They had a crazy game the other day, overtime game. Diana Taurasi almost nearly kept the team in the game. She hit the shot that sent the game to overtime. This series, Seattle might win it because they have the MVP on the team. They're just a better overall team. And also the other series, the Mystics versus the Dreams, that one's tied 1-1. Ella Della Don, the forward for the Mystics, she 37 points game 1, 27 points game 2, 13 rebounds, 14 rebounds. She's been playing hard. So that series is tied 1-1. It's both these games have been competitive. I told you I only watched WNBA playoffs. Mm-hmm. they've been competitive. All the games have been competitive, so it's a continue. I believe there's a game on tonight. So that's the WNBA playoffs for you.
All right, thanks for the roundup. Did any of them slam dunk?
Brittany Griner
I don't
does.
remember Griner does.
And I
Anybody
think
else?
there's another player. I think there's another one.
Yeah.
I don't know her name, but pretty soon they're going to be 316 and stuff like that.
Good.
Let's go to our +1 interview. This man all the way from Colorado, he called in, Justin Adams.
And there's a little bit of audio issues. It doesn't sound the greatest. I'm going to blame the altitude in Denver for that one. But bear with us, and if you listen closely, you can make out pretty much every word that's being said.
Yeah, +1.
+1.
All right, welcome to another edition of the +1 interview. Today we have a special guest all the way from in Colorado. He is the multimedia manager at the Sports Spectrum. I have with me Justin Adams. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I can't complain. Football season's right around the corner. The season starts in a couple weeks. Let's start talking about the Broncos. The Broncos these past few years, the highlight of the team has been that defense, but since winning that Super Bowl, their inability to find a stable quarterback, do you think is that just going to continue to be a problem, or can Case Keenum be the guy that could just do enough for them so to put enough points where the defense could kind of take over and win the games like they did during that Super Bowl run?
Well, I'll tell you, whatever magic dust that Case Keenum got in Minnesota, I hope he brings it to the Rocky Mountain, to our Broncos fans as well, because they're going to need some stability at quarterback. Get this, since Peyton Manning, and that was 2 years ago since he made his last start in the Super Bowl, Broncos haven't had a stable quarterback yet. They had different guys, Paxton Lynch, Brock Osweiler, even Trevor Siemian, especially last year where you have all three of those guys kind of like a merry-go-round, go around in circles of who's starting. Anytime you have something like that, won't win football games. You never see that happen. So it's important for the Broncos to have Case Keenum stay healthy and play very well this year. But I will make this stat, and I've talked about this on several radio shows that I've been a part of.
Mm-hmm.
The last two times the Broncos have won a Super Bowl, you go back to 2016 and 1998, the backup quarterback has had to start a couple of games and win a couple of games in the regular season. So that means that Chad Kelly, when he goes for his fourth preseason game on Thursday, he's going to be very important if the Broncos decide to make him the backup quarterback to make sure that he's ready to go in that role.
Yeah, and the NFC West as well, that division is up for grabs to me. I think they're saying the Kansas City Chiefs are the favorite right now, but they're going to have a first-year quarterback. The Oakland Raiders, we don't know what in the world is going to happen with them, with John Gruden coming back after a 10-year hiatus. And then the San Diego Chargers, they're a team that always seems to start off slow, then they make a run, then they make a push during the end of the season. What do you make of the NFC West?
Well, the NFC West, I see without a doubt that the San Diego Chargers, well, not San Diego, the Los Angeles Chargers, rather. We all get mixed up. They should be in San Diego, but the Los Angeles Chargers are definitely the head and shoulders of the class right now in the AFC West. And if I had a prediction today, I would say that would be the team to win it, even though the Kansas City Chiefs have won it for the last 2 years. Patrick Mahomes on the other side for the Chiefs, he is starting this season, but he is pretty much a rookie quarterback. So he has a great arm, as was shown with his tremendous 67-yard touchdown pass against the Atlanta Falcons in preseason play. But there's too many questions there. Still a lot of he's still very young, very inexperienced at the quarterback position. So I don't think that Kansas City will be there, and their defense isn't as good as it was a year ago. Los Angeles, they just have the quarterback. They have several different pieces to look in, pass rushers, and they also have Melvin Gordon in the backfield. And they also have a pretty good wide receiver corps. So they'll be a tough team to beat. And when you go to the Raiders, I don't know what Chucky is doing.
Yeah.
But I have them, but your best player you haven't even negotiated with at all. That should tell you everything you need to know about the Oakland Raiders this year. If you don't get Khalil Mack, you don't have a pass rush, your defense suffers. And I don't care how good Derek Carr and Marshawn Lynch will be, you can't win a game in the NFL if you don't have a defense.
Yeah, you're definitely correct about that. And we only got a few minutes left. So who are some of the players that you're going to be looking at this season that you think are going to have a breakout season?
I'll start off with this. He's an older player. I'll go with Domantas Peko. He's a guy that you won't hear a lot from, but you don't want to hear a lot in the sense of this. He has to be able to be that stable force in the middle of the Broncos defense. If he's that guy, he makes everybody else better. man talks about as a rookie from SMU, a second-round draft pick. This guy doesn't go up for 50-50 balls. And what I mean by 50-50 balls is pretty much if you and I do the football in the air, it's like me being a 6'2" guy going up against a 3-year-old little kid. I'm going to win every time the little kid will touch the ball. And that's the way that Portland Sutton is. So it's going to be a lot of fun to see the Broncos offense this year. Hopefully guys like Jake Butt at tight end can get a lot of receptions in. If all else goes well, the Broncos should be 10-6, and that will bode well and probably a wild card appearance.
Yeah, definitely. Cortland Sutton, he definitely was a steal of the draft, getting him in the second round. But yeah, this is going to be an interesting football season. Well, once again, kickoff is just a week away. We'll definitely hear back from you once some point during the season. Thank you again for calling in, Justin.
Hey, without a doubt, thank you so much for having me on. And I wish to say this: go Broncos. That'll be all right, huh?
All right. You have a good one.
You as well.
All right, bro. All right, you guys have been watching the Plus One interview with Justin Adams, and we're going to toss it back to Brian.
All right, thank you, Justin Adams. Once again, it's good to have people who know what they're talking about on this program. And he got in that nice little dig, go Broncos, at the end. But sorry, I don't think the Broncos are going to be on the Patriots level this year. But thank you, Justin, for calling in. It's
He'll be back.
Yeah, he'll be back. And maybe he might rub it in our faces. All right, let's talk NCAA football. We got to go kind of quick here.
Yeah.
Highlight the big. I've never had a week one that I can remember with this many big games at a conference with ranked teams. This is one of the best weekends of college football we've seen in a while.
We got 4 games with top 25 teams facing off against each other. Washington, number 6 Washington versus number 9 Auburn. That should be interesting.
Who did you pick?
Auburn.
I got Washington.
I'd like Auburn. For some reason, whenever one of those Pac-12 teams faces off SEC teams,
Comes back to quarterback play. Browning's one of the best, probably the best quarterback in college football.
I don't even know who's Auburn quarterback, but they usually have surrounding players.
Yeah.
They're usually good. Michigan, Notre Dame. That might be the game of the year.
Could be.
That could be the game of the year. The one I'm looking at, Miami versus LSU. Number 8 Miami versus number 25 LSU. LSU's problem hasn't been talent. It's been quarterback. They've had all the talents, wide receivers, running backs, linemen, defensive players. They just never had a quarterback. That's their problem. I believe they have one, a transfer from Michigan, I believe. I may be wrong.
He's supposed to be highly touted.
Yeah,
yes,
they have a transfer.
Like
They're saying he's going to be the real deal. So if he can, with all that
and
talent.
I love those ACC, SEC matchups for some reason.
And then we got Virginia Tech and Florida, number 20 Virginia Tech and number 19 Florida State, ACC rivals. Usually they play in the middle of the season, but they starting off right in the bang, boom. This is.
All right, so let's get your predictions for the rest of the game. Michigan and Notre Dame.
I'm going with Michigan.
I'm going Michigan. Miami, LSU.
I want to say LSU, but I think Miami's going to win it.
This is the toughest one for me. I'm going to go with the underdog LSU. Virginia Tech or FSU?
Virginia Tech.
Virginia Tech. Cool. All right. Now, well, you do your Athletes Corner thing.
Athletes Corner, we were down at Manning Field. Lynn Classical Soccer team had their practice/tryouts, so we was there. It was cool. It was hot. I was burning up that day. Check out Athletes Corner.
6, 8, 9.
It's a great turnout. You know, we got about 50 kids. It's going to be tough to select the varsity team this year, but there's tons of talent out here. I'm just looking first and foremost who's got the skill set right off the bat, and secondly, who's willing to compete for a spot. And I'm looking for attributes like who's going to work hard, who's mentally tough. It's more than just, you know, skills on the ball at this point.
Well, I'm just hoping to have a great season. There's a lot of new people coming in. Hope I get to meet them, have a good time with them. I hope we go far this season.
like you said, it's my last year playing here. I hope to actually win the city tournament, make states, and then just put ourselves out there, you know. This is a great team. I know we have a lot of skill. We just need to come together and work as a unit.
It's our senior year. Been training off season for this. We got a good group of guys coming in. We should be ready for this season coming in. Coach has gone straight to what matters in this, and that's obviously the game, the tactics and stuff.
I'm looking to win the city tournament with them right away and also make it to the state tournament. They haven't made it to the state. Some of these seniors, they've never been to a state tournament or playoffs yet, so that's the goal this year, is the city tournament and the states.
Well, when you're a senior, there's also a sort of mental maturity kind of thing going on. So I think we're going to come in ready to play, and every team should be wary of Lynn Classical. We're a good team, and we will come out fighting.
In the off season, I did my footwork with one of my coaches, jog, just staying in shape, hitting the weight room with the team. I was gone to New York for some time, but I came back straight to work, and I was working in New York too, jogging, staying healthy and ready for the season.
Communication is a big thing. I've noticed in the past couple of years they didn't put that much emphasis on it. We didn't really talk. We played individualistic, and I want to change that this year. I want to make everyone a part of the game.
This year I've been learning how to be better communication with my teammates, better distribution, and more mentally tough.
We're gonna need to finish way more. We got a great striker up this season, training goals off season, which is Gabe. We got Fernando, a bunch of players coming in that can score the ball this year. And we got shooters outside the box now.
Everyone's trying hard. Everyone's going hard. No one's playing around. Everyone's taking this very serious. Everyone knows what our goal is, and we're just trying to make it happen.
Me personally, I want to win city tournament first and just start from there, which is the first game of the season. Make playoffs hopefully in the first 2 weeks. I just want to get everything that we haven't gotten these past 3 years that I've been here and just do it all this year. We're looking good. We got a full senior squad that's strong and ready to play.
All right, and welcome back to After the Whistle. We're kind of out of time. We were going to go through the NFC, but we can only talk about it briefly. Unlike the AFC, the NFC is pretty wide open. So let's just go through the teams. NFC East, of course, Giants, Redskins, Dallas, Eagles. Who do you like coming out of that division?
Two teams are going to come out that division. I believe it's going to be the Eagles once again and the Giants. I don't trust the Cowboys for some odd reason. There's just something about them that just makes me wary. And it has to do more so with the defensive side of the ball, number one. And if you get them down, is Dak Prescott good enough to come back on the team?
But Ezekiel Elliott and that offensive line, they're tough to contribute. I mean, and then you got Washington Redskins with, you back and forth on Alex Smith. But I think, I think this is up for grabs. The division that's up for the grabs.
Yeah.
I'm going to say my early prediction will be the Giants.
The Giants? No, I mean, I think the Eagles
Well, it depends on Carson Wentz's health. We'll see. All right, so let's go to the NFC North. We got Minnesota, Green Bay, Chicago, and the Lions. And it's no longer
race.
It's no longer Aaron Rodgers' division.
Vikings and Packers. It's going to be between those two teams, right? Everybody's saying the Minnesota hype is real.
I think
That defense is scary, athletic. They could cause a lot of problems. But you know me, I just don't trust the quarterback.
Well, but then you got a new coach in Detroit, Matthew Patricia, and then you still got Matt Stafford.
Yeah,
and
still have Matt Stafford.
Tate, but he can throw the ball, and then you got Golden Tate and you got Marvin Jones Jr. So you got some
I don't trust the
good
quarterback.
players there too. They're right open, but I'm going to pick Minnesota to come out of that.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. You know what? I'll take the Packers to come out of that one.
Really?
Yeah,
All
I think
right.
Aaron Rodgers is going to bounce back after that season, missing so many games last season.
NFC South, I can see any of these teams winning.
That may be the toughest division.
You got the Panthers, the Saints, the Bucks, and the Falcons.
3-team race.
I could see the Bucks. I could see the Bucks sneaking in there.
The quarterback has to mature. I don't think their quarterback has the maturity level
I'm not
to
saying
take
he
them.
will, but I'm saying I could see it.
It's possible,
they got a good defensive line. They got a good defense in general.
Yeah. I'm all in on Cam Newton. Cam Newton, I think this is the most talented team that they've surrounded him with, and I think I think the Panthers are going to win that division.
I'm going to go with the Saints. I think the Saints offense is just super high powered with Kamara, Thomas, and still Drew Brees at the helm. The defense is much improved, but I could see Carolina or even Atlanta with Matt Ryan, and they still got Julio Jones and Devonta Freeman still on the team, so they can win.
There's a lot of talent in that division.
And now let's talk about the NFC West, which I think is probably the weakest division.
Probably so.
But I think that they arguably have the best team in the Los Angeles Rams.
Yeah, I believe they're the most complete team out of all the teams in that division, offensively and defensively. I think they're just going to pick up where they left off last season. I think they're going to win that division.
I think they're going to win that division, but you can never count out a team led by Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson.
They just need to they just got to protect Russell Wilson and just protect them.
And Doug Baldwin's got to become an elite receiver.
Yeah.
And they got to try to get the Legion of Boom back.
49ers.
And they always have that home field advantage, which is very tough. So NFC wide open, but give me your favorite team out of the NFC.
The favorite right now, I'm going with the Carolina Panthers.
Wow. Okay, I'm going to stick with the Rams. I think
Awesome.
the Rams are the best team in the division.
All right, and that's our sound. We're about to sign off. We're taking you guys. Have a great weekend. Have a safe Labor Day. Enjoy it. Be safe. We will be back Tuesday. Election night coverage. We'll be here.
That's right.
So make sure you tune in. We're going to be live. Have a great weekend, ladies and gentlemen.
Bye.